If everything in your life feels like it's breaking, this message is not a coincidence. You didn't arrive here by accident, and this moment is not meaningless. If your life feels like it is falling apart, if things you prayed for are slipping from your hands, I want you to pause for a moment and listen. This moment you are in is not random. And it is not punishment. Sometimes Allah shakes your life not to destroy you, but to wake your heart, to pull closer, to remind you that what you were holding on to was never meant to be your source of peace. When everything is stable, we rely on what we see. We rely on people, plans, and certainty. But when Allah removes the ground beneath your feet, He is teaching your heart where true reliance belongs. That breaking you feel is not weakness. It is your soul being softened. Allah does not break hearts to abandon them. He breaks hearts so they finally turn to Him fully. So if you are standing in the ruins of what you thought your life should look like, know this: Allah is still in control. He is rewriting your story with wisdom you cannot yet see. What feels like an ending may be the most merciful beginning of your life if you allow your heart to trust Him through the fall. What feels like a breakdown is often Allah preparing you for a breakthrough. This truth is difficult to accept when you are standing inside the pain, when nothing looks the way you imagined it would, and when your heart is exhausted from trying to hold everything together. In those moments, it feels as if life is collapsing rather than unfolding. Plans fall apart, relationships change, doors close, and prayers seem unanswered. Yet in the divine order of Allah, what appears as loss is very often a form of redirection, and what feels like destruction is actually reconstruction happening at a level you cannot yet see. Human beings naturally cling to what is familiar. We grow attached to outcomes, timelines, and versions of our life that make sense to us. We assume that stability means success and ease means Allah's pleasure. But Allah's wisdom operates beyond our limited vision. A breakdown often comes when something we are holding on to no longer serves our growth, our faith, or our ultimate destination. Allah, in His mercy, does not allow us to remain stuck in places that would slowly suffocate our souls, even if those places look comfortable on the surface. Sometimes the breakdown begins internally. You feel unmotivated, disconnected, or spiritually dry. Acts of worship feel heavy. The heart feels restless without a clear reason. This internal collapse is not a sign of weak faith. It is often a sign that the heart is being invited to deepen its relationship with Allah. Comfort can make us spiritually lazy, but discomfort forces us to ask real questions. Who am I relying on? What am I living for? Where is my heart truly attached? These questions are painful, but they are necessary for transformation. Other times, the breakdown is external. A job you worked hard for ends unexpectedly. A relationship you invested your heart in falls apart. A plan you were confident about suddenly collapses. You replay events in your mind, trying to understand what went wrong. You wonder why allowed this to happen when you were doing everything you could. But what you do not see is that Allah is not only responding to your actions, He is responding to your future. He knows where a certain path would have led you, even if you cannot see it yet. So He intervenes, not always gently, but always wisely. A breakthrough does not always look like immediate relief. Sometimes the breakthrough is clarity. Sometimes it is emotional maturity. Sometimes it is a deeper dependence on Allah that you would never have developed otherwise. When everything is going well, we rarely make deep dua. We thank Allah, but we do not cling to Him. When everything is falling apart, dua becomes desperate, honest, and raw. That desperation strips away pride and replaces it with humility. And humility is the soil in which real growth happens. Allah often breaks what we idolize. An idol does not have to be something haram. It can be something halal that the heart relies on more than Allah. Success, stability, people, or even our own strength can become silent idols. When Allah removes them, it hurts deeply because the heart was leaning on them. But that pain is a form of purification. Allah is teaching the heart to stand upright again, leaning only on Him. That lesson is painful, but it is priceless. During a breakdown, Shaitan then whispers that this pain is proof that Allah is displeased or that you are being punished. But the lives of the prophets prove otherwise. Yusuf was thrown into a well before becoming a leader. Musa was forced into exile before receiving revelation. The Prophet and Raqqa faced rejection, loss, and isolation before Islam spread across the world. Their breakdowns were not signs of abandonment. They were part of divine preparation. Allah was shaping them internally before elevating them externally. A breakthrough requires capacity. If Allah were to give you what you are asking for right now, your heart might not be ready to carry it. So Allah expands your capacity through hardship. Pain stretches the soul, loss deepens empathy, waiting builds patience, confusion strengthens reliance. None of these qualities develop in ease. They develop when you are forced to confront your limitations and hand them over to Allah. The breakdown is the process through which Allah makes room for what is coming next. There is also a mercy hidden in delay. What you want may be good, but the timing may not be. Allah sees the full picture, including the consequences of receiving something too early. So He withholds, not out of cruelty, but out of care. In the meantime, the breakdown you experience strips away illusions and reshapes priorities. By the time the breakthrough comes, you are no longer the same person who first asked for it. You are wiser, softer, and more grounded in faith. Many people look back on their hardest seasons and realize that those moments changed them more than any success ever did. The pain taught them boundaries. The loss taught them self-worth. The confusion taught them tawakkul. The loneliness taught them how close Allah truly is. At the time, none of this was visible. All they could see was the breaking. But with time, the wisdom became clear. It is important to understand that a breakdown does not mean you are failing at life. It often means you are being redirected. Allah closes doors loudly sometimes because quiet signs were ignored. He dismantles plans forcefully when gentle nudges did not work. This does not mean you are disobedient or undeserving. It means Allah is actively involved in your journey, guiding you away from what could harm you and toward what will grow you. During these moments, patience does not mean silence or suppression. It means continuing to turn to Allah even when your heart is tired. It means allowing yourself to feel pain without losing hope. It means trusting that Allah's plan is unfolding even when you cannot trace it. The breakthrough is not only in the outcome, it is in who you become while waiting. Sometimes the breakthrough comes in a form you never expected. What you thought was a loss becomes an opening. What you feared becomes freedom. What you grieved becomes the reason you are stronger, more compassionate, and more anchored in faith. Allah does not waste pain. Every tear is recorded. Every sleepless night is known. Every silent struggle is seen, and none of it is meaningless. A breakdown strips life down to what truly matters. It removes distractions and reveals priorities. It forces the heart to confront its dependence on Allah in a way that comfort never could. In that stripped down state, sincerity grows. Dua becomes more real. Faith becomes less performative and more personal. That depth is itself a breakthrough, even if the external circumstances have not changed yet. When Allah prepares a breakthrough, He often begins by unsettling what you thought was stable. This is not to leave you lost, but to realign you. The process is uncomfortable because growth always is. Sheets break open in darkness before they ever see the light. From the outside, it looks like destruction. In reality, it is the beginning of life. The heart resists breaking because breaking feels like losing control. But true peace does not come from control. It comes from surrender. When the heart finally releases its grip and places its trust fully in Allah, something shifts internally. Even before circumstances improve, there is a sense of grounding. That inner shift is often the first sign that a breakthrough is already underway. What you are experiencing may feel like chaos, but it is not chaos to Allah. It is ordered, measured, and purposeful. Every event is placed exactly where it needs to be in your story. You may not understand it now, and you are not required to. You are only required to trust that the one who is guiding you sees what you cannot and knows what you need more than you do. The breakdown humbles the heart. And a humbled heart is a heart that can receive divine gifts without being destroyed by them. Pride, attachment, and illusion cannot survive deep hardship. What remains is sincerity, reliance, and a quieter but stronger faith. That faith becomes the foundation upon which Allah builds what comes next. Often, the greatest breakthroughs are internal before they are external. Peace before provision, clarity before success, strength before ease. Allah works from the inside out. He heals the heart, reforms intentions, and realigns direction before changing circumstances. To someone watching from the outside, it may look like nothing is happening, but internally, everything is shifting. The pain you feel now may be the very thing that saves you later. The door that closed may have protected you from something you were not meant to endure. The delay may be preserving something far better for you. Allah's mercy is not always soft. Sometimes it is firm, corrective, and deeply uncomfortable. But it is mercy nonetheless. When you are in the middle of a breakdown, it is natural to want it to end quickly. But some lessons require time. Some transformations cannot be rushed. Allah is patient with you even when you are impatient with yourself. He knows how much you can handle, and He knows exactly when to ease the weight. Until then, every moment is shaping you for what is ahead. There is a quiet strength that emerges from surviving what you thought would destroy you. That strength is not arrogance, it is resilience rooted in faith. It is the confidence that even if life falls apart again, Allah will still be there. That realization alone changes how you move through the world. What feels like a breakdown is rarely the end of the story. It is often the part where the story turns, where the direction changes, where the main character is reshaped. You may not recognize it now because pain narrows perspective. But Allah's plan is expansive, stretching far beyond this moment, this season, this version of you. Every time Allah removes something from your life, He is making space for growth, for healing, for something more aligned with who you are becoming. The heart resists emptiness, but Allah fills it in ways you never imagined. Often after you stop trying to control the process. The breakdown teaches you to sit with discomfort without losing faith. It teaches you to trust Allah without immediate reassurance. It teaches you that your worth is not tied to outcomes, achievements, or stability. These lessons form the backbone of a faith that can withstand future storms. You may look at others and feel like they are moving forward while you are stuck in pieces. But everyone's path is different. Some are being elevated quietly. Others are being prepared deeply. Allah does not rush His best work. He takes His time shaping hearts that will carry responsibility, influence, or impact with humility. In the unseen realm, things are already moving. Du'as are being answered in ways you do not yet recognize. Doors are aligning, people are being removed or positioned, opportunities are forming. But for now, the focus is on you, your heart, your reliance, your growth. What feels like everything falling apart may actually be everything falling into alignment. Not with your expectations, but with Allah's wisdom. And while that wisdom may hurt at first, it ultimately leads to a peace that is deeper than anything you could have planned for yourself. When everything is taken away, Allah is teaching your heart where true reliance belongs. This is a lesson that cannot be learned in times of comfort, nor can it be truly understood when life is smooth and predictable. Human beings are naturally drawn to security and tangible support. We lean on our careers, our wealth, our relationships, and even our own abilities to navigate the complexities of life. When all of these supports are present, it is easy to forget the one who is truly unshakable. We may pray, we may perform acts of worship, but the depth of our trust remains shallow, anchored in the things we can see and control. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sometimes removes these anchors not out of cruelty, but as a form of mercy, to reveal to the heart the only one worthy of absolute trust, the only source of ultimate peace and guidance. The process of losing what we cling to is rarely gentle. It can come suddenly, like a door closing that you never expected, or gradually, like a slow erosion of stability that you once took for granted. Perhaps a relationship that you depended on dissolves, leaving you feeling lonely and uncertain. Perhaps a career you built over years collapses unexpectedly, and you are forced to confront your sense of identity and worth. Perhaps health fails, or long-held dreams slip through your fingers. Each loss, each moment of disorientation serves a singular purpose: to strip away reliance on the finite and redirect the heart toward the infinite. Pain is a powerful teacher because it leaves no room for pretense. It strips the soul bare and forces recognition of the one who never abandons. In these moments of loss, the heart often resists. It questions, it complains, and it struggles to understand the wisdom behind what has been taken away. This resistance is natural because human beings are accustomed to control and predictability. We are not comfortable with uncertainty, and we are not accustomed to surrendering what we hold dear. Yet the lesson is that true security is not found in the things that can be lost, but in the one whose decree is absolute. Allah does not remove these things arbitrarily. He removes them to teach the heart how to rely fully on Him, to teach the soul that dependence on the transient can never bring permanent peace. In the absence of worldly anchors, the heart begins to reach for the eternal, the unseen, and the all-powerful. Realizing that reliance on Allah is not theoretical but practical, lived and tested. When the heart is forced into this state of reliance, something remarkable begins to happen. The soul develops a resilience that could not have been cultivated in ease. Patience becomes more than a word. It becomes a lived experience. Dua becomes more sincere, arising not out of habit, but out of necessity. A broken heart begins to understand the depth of Allah's mercy, recognizing that what is withheld may have been harmful if given, and what is taken away may have been a shield from unseen trials. The heart learns to accept that Allah's wisdom surpasses human comprehension, that His timing is perfect, and that His plan encompasses not only what is visible, but also what is hidden, far beyond the scope of our understanding. This process often challenges the ego. Human beings are prone to pride, thinking they can control their destiny through effort, intelligence, or influence. When everything is stripped away, the ego is confronted with its limitations. Wealth, status, and influence, once relied upon as sources of security, are revealed to be fragile. Relationships, while beautiful and meaningful, are not infallible. Even one's own abilities have boundaries. In this stripping away, the heart learns humility. It learns that reliance on Allah is not optional, but essential. It learns that true strength comes not from self-sufficiency, but from surrender to the one who is infinitely sufficient. The lessons embedded in loss extend beyond the personal and touch the spiritual. As the heart comes to rely more on Allah, faith deepens. Worship is no longer a routine or a habit performed out of obligation. It becomes a lifeline. Prayer, remembrance, and supplication acquire a depth and intensity that can only be forged through trials. The heart begins to recognize that reliance on Allah is not passive. It is active, conscious, and persistent. True reliance is a choice made in the absence of guarantees, a conscious turning toward Allah even when everything else seems uncertain. It is in these moments that faith transforms from theory into lived reality. Often the breakthrough comes in subtle ways. It may manifest as clarity in decision-making, a sense of inner peace amidst chaos, or the discovery of resilience the individual did not know existed. The heart begins to trust that what has been taken away was never truly meant to be a source of lasting support, and that what remains, when surrendered to Allah, is more secure than anything human hands could hold. The soul starts to perceive blessings hidden within trials, understanding that hardship is not merely a test, but also a form of guidance, a means of aligning the heart with divine wisdom. The external world may not immediately reflect this internal transformation. Relationships may remain distant, careers may not recover instantly, and desires may still be unfulfilled. Yet within the heart, the change is profound. A heart that has learned to rely solely on Allah experiences a serenity that the world cannot provide. The trials that once felt unbearable become the crucible through which the heart has been refined. Each tear, each sleepless night, each moment of despair contributes to a deepening of spiritual insight and reliance that cannot be undone. One of the most profound aspects of this lesson is understanding that reliance on Allah is not conditional on circumstances. True reliance is not a refuge taken only when life is easy. It is a state of being that persists even when everything falls apart. The heart learns to trust that Allah is sufficient in every situation, that His wisdom encompasses all outcomes, and that His decree is never unjust. In this realization, patience is transformed from endurance into active faith. The believer begins to wait with hope rather than merely endure with resignation, recognizing that what appears as delay or loss may be the most merciful part of Allah's plan. The process of learning reliance also cultivates gratitude in a deeper sense. Once the heart understands that worldly supports are transient and that only Allah is eternal, the blessings that remain take on new significance. Gratitude is no longer a casual acknowledgement, but a profound recognition of Allah's presence and care. Even in scarcity, the heart perceives sustenance. Even in loneliness, the heart perceives companionship in Allah's nearness. Every experience of reliance strengthens the awareness that life's value lies not in what is controlled, but in whom one trusts. This lesson also reshapes priorities. When everything is taken away, the heart becomes attuned to what truly matters. Superficial desires fade in significance. Material wealth, social approval, and fleeting pleasures are seen in their true light, as temporary and unreliable. Spiritual wealth, character, and closeness to Allah become the central focus. The heart learns to invest in what endures, to place effort into what brings eternal benefit, and to align every action with the awareness of Allah's omnipresence. Reliance on Allah is no longer abstract, but practical, informing decisions, relationships, and intentions. Through loss, the believer also learns empathy. Experiencing hardship cultivates a sensitivity to the struggles of others. The heart that has relied on Allah in isolation becomes capable of offering genuine support and understanding to those facing similar trials. Compassion emerges not merely from theory but from lived experience. The believer begins to recognize the interconnectedness of human trials and the mercy embedded in shared suffering, understanding that every hardship carries within it a potential for spiritual growth and communal benefit. In addition, this journey teaches resilience. The heart learns that setbacks do not signify failure, that detours are not dead ends, and that endings are not final. Reliance on Allah equips the soul with a stability that is unshaken by external circumstances. The believer can navigate uncertainty with equanimity, knowing that the foundation of life is not in the transient, but in the eternal. Each trial strengthens the capacity to endure. Each loss reinforces the awareness of Allah's sufficiency. And each moment of dependence fosters a spiritual maturity that cannot be acquired through comfort alone. The understanding that true reliance belongs only to Allah also transforms fear and anxiety. When the heart anchors itself in the one who is all-powerful and all-knowing, uncertainty loses its grip. The believer recognizes that where outcomes are unknown, provision, guidance, and mercy are guaranteed by Allah's wisdom. Fear of loss is tempered by trust in divine decree. Worry over what might be lost is replaced with confidence in what cannot be taken away, Allah's presence, care, and oversight. As the heart internalizes this lesson, it begins to move forward with clarity and purpose. Decisions are made with a conscious awareness of divine guidance rather than mere personal preference. Actions are taken with an understanding that ultimate success rests not in human ability, but in alignment with Allah's will. Reliance on Allah does not negate effort. Rather, it infuses effort with meaning, recognizing that struggle is purposeful and that outcomes, while unseen, are part of a divine plan that is just and merciful. This process is ongoing. Reliance is not a single moment of realization, but a lifelong practice. Each new challenge, each unexpected loss, each period of uncertainty becomes an opportunity to reaffirm trust in Allah. The believer learns to navigate life with a heart that is flexible yet anchored, resilient yet humble, patient yet active in seeking what is beneficial. Through repeated experiences of reliance, the soul becomes attuned to Allah's presence, perceives His mercy in subtle ways, and grows in spiritual depth and maturity. The ultimate wisdom of this lesson is that nothing is truly lost when the heart relies on Allah. What appears as deprivation or absence may in fact be the preparation for a greater blessing, a redirection toward a more appropriate path, or the cultivation of inner strength and spiritual clarity. Reliance on Allah ensures that the believer's heart remains intact, anchored in faith, regardless of external circumstances. Even when life removes everything else, the foundation remains firm, unshakable, and sufficient, teaching the heart that true security and peace exist only in complete trust and dependence upon the one who never fails, never tires, and never abandons.